Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review the horror one-shot 10 Years to Death by AfterShock Comics. And before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, we see the cover here. It is a AfterShock one-shot. Like I said, these are their new horror 40-page one-shots. They're kind of oversized as well. They're like magazine size. And this one is written by Aaron Douglas and art by Cliff Richards. Aaron Douglas is, if you don't know, the chief from Battlestar Galactica. So if that means anything to you. And we see the cover here. It is a prison book. It takes place in Colony Penitentiary. We see an officer walk into the sleeping quarters, and apparently this officer just shoots someone named Antosky. And then we cut to kind of the interesting way this comic is told. It is told through an uncle telling a story to his nephew. So this is Uncle Jonah here getting home from work, and he is a guard at said penitentiary. And he comes home disturbed one day, very disturbed. He walks in, gets a drink, so much so that, the kid asks, "Hey, are you okay, Uncle Jonah?" And the uncle's weirdly, the uncle's like, "You know what? I'm going to have a beer. You can have a beer because I'm going to tell you this story and you're not allowed to tell anybody. Same with the beer. Don't tell anybody about it." And he starts off this story saying his name was Dan Doyle. So Dan Doyle is this new officer who is very stoic, I guess you say. He, when he just stares at you, you just get the willies because he doesn't blink. There's no emotion in there or anything. Basically, they say he's creepy as fuck. And then we see there's an inmate that's is named Carl Antosky. This is obviously in the past from the first page, because the first page, Antosky gets shot in the head. And so he is like the big bad in the jail. He runs the jail from the inside. That is until Antosky sees said officer, the Officer Doyle, and all of a sudden completely changes. Anytime Doyle's around, he clams up, lets people live, stops doing whatever he's doing. And this gets to be such like a common occurrence that this Antosky guy's crying out, and Uncle Jonah, he's like, "What's going on? Is this officer abusing this guy? Is he like not a real officer and he's part of the mob or something? He's shaking him down. What's going on?" But the problem is Antosky won't say anything. He just sits there shaking in his bed when he's asked, "Is there anything you want to tell me? What's going on? Is anything happening?" Uncle Jonas says the creepiest thing that ever happened to him with this Officer Doyle, other than him just being a weird, silent guy, is that one day at lunch, Doyle was facing away from him and he was looking at him from the back. And Doyle just stopped and turned around and gave him this weird smile that he says fucked with him in his dreams and everything. And the way they drew this is very creepy and wait, what's wrong with this dude? Is he like a killer or is he undercover? What's going on? And this experience in the lunchroom actually causes Uncle Jonah to go look around again. He finds I guess it's the guy directly across from Antosky, who is known for knowing what's going on in the prison. And he asked this dude, "What's going on with Antosky and this officer?" And that guy's like, I ain't telling you shit. I don't know anything. All I know is he gets scared whenever that officer comes by. And I've never seen Antosky be scared of anything. And then right when they're talking about it, fucking Jonah turns around and sees Doyle standing there. He's like, how long have you been there? What's going on? You're just doing your rounds, huh? All right, cool. So things proceed like this until one night where things come to a head. Uncle Jonah gets a phone call in the middle of the night. He has to go to prison because something's going on. There's been a murder and the place is in lockdown. So he gets there and he's like, okay, everything seems normal. People are asleep. There's no one broken out of their cells or anything. And then he walks in and says, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Antosky's dead." But he's dead in a weird way. They say he was shot in the head, but there's no blood and it's right above his ear. And the other thing is, there's no gun they can find or anything, and Officer Doyle is missing. So they go to check on Officer Doyle to see if he's in his quarters or something. And I'm going to stop it here. I don't want to spoil the rest of this. But yeah, this was a really fun comic. I enjoyed it. I liked the pacing of it, the way that it was told, how you got what happened at the beginning. You saw the murder happen, and then it cuts to, Uncle having to tell his nephew about this horrible thing that's going to stay in his mind forever. And even the kid's talking, he's like, yeah, this is gonna stay in my mind forever too. So like the uncle, while he's scarred, is like scarring the child on accident because I don't know. It's just funny. It felt like a '50s story, the way everybody's dressed. The officers look like they're in like the '50s to the '60s or something, and the house with the kid and the beer. It just felt like it was like an old timey story where. Yeah, you're gonna get traumatized by the stories adults tell you, kid. All right, get over it. But I mean, I thought it was a good creepy story. The main thing was just trying to figure out what's this dude's problem. What's up with Doyle? Like I said, is he like a hired assassin or something? Why would Antosky get all scared around him? Does he work for some other mob or someone that Antosky pissed off? Like, what's going on with this guy? So I thought it had a good lead up to the reveal and everything, and like a good buildup of tension. And especially since like once Uncle Jonah starts looking into him, he starts being weird to Uncle Jonah, like looking at him in the lunchroom and then appearing behind him as he's asking other inmates like what's going on. I would say I wish there was a little bit more horror in this, less like tension horror. Like I wish there was more spooky or actual like violence going on in the horror, because that was the only thing I thought was a little bit missing. The end could have had a different ending where something happens to Uncle Jonah or the kid because of what they've been talking about, kind of thing, and because Uncle Jonah was so involved with this specific officer. There was definitely an opening to have him be affected later on by Officer Doyle as well. So that would have been cool. But they did it this way to kind of like keep it a nice, tight, wrapped up story. So with that, I will give this one a 4 out of 5. It was a solid read. That oversized magazine style, I love it. Keep doing these one-shots, AfterShock. They are fucking awesome. I don't know if they're ever going to collect these, so you might want to check them out, because if you like kind of interesting one-off horror comics, I don't know if they're ever going to put these in a collection. Check them out. Support AfterShock putting out these horror comics, and we will see you guys on the next one.